Welcome again, everyone. It's another time for Impact 45. And this month specifically has really been special. That's a month of impact, the real impact. Every month we make impact anyways, but this is the month of impact. And we did something very special this month. Other years we've been having impact, social program, political program, but this year impact was Art of Gold. Art of Gold, where people were blessed in various ways, medically, socially, financially. People were blessed in all aspects. So today, as usual, I'll be having with me here Pastor Adebayo, and we will just be walking you through our journey so far, like from the last impact to now, how far we've gone, what we've discussed, would have this walk through together. So good evening, Pastor Adebayo.
Yeah, good evening, Raguki. How are you today?
Very fine. I'm very, very fine. How about you?
Yeah, we give all the glory to God.
And congratulations on behalf of Impact. Congratulations.
Yeah, we thank God. Impact has come a long way. And if you look at Impact, this year is the 90th edition of Impact. We just celebrated 9 years of Impact. I think we started Impact from 2017, July 2017. But today, we'll be looking at part right from August 2025 to look at what we have done, how far we have gone, what we have learned, and how we can improve on what we have really done. So you are welcome. I think it's going to be quite exciting because we have a lot of program activities that we've run from August 2025 till date. So let's go.
Yeah, you're very correct. Before you came in, I was discussing something with our audience, and I was telling them, we did something very special this year. The impact we've had previous years have always been, we invite notable people to speak about the problems in our political environment, talk about social problems, but we did something very special. I so love the topic, the Art of Gold. People were blessed with medical supplies, were blessed with medical checkups, so with food materials, and all these things. I need to ask, what inspired the change? Why did we decide to do that?
Thank you, Gugi. We look at the atmosphere. Not to put anybody's down. If you look at the atmosphere this year, we discovered that things are very high. The prices of things are very high. And we were able to prove it during the program, The Art of Gold, that we brought a lot of specialists and drugs and welfare across to the community. That a lot of people did not even know that they have high blood pressure until they were carrying out the test and they discovered that they are 172, 96. A lot of people, like 70% of the people, they didn't even know because they are not checking. And as they call high blood pressure is a sudden killer. They didn't even know that they have high blood pressure. You can imagine. People are, if you look at the environment now, the high cost of living, high food prices, a lot of high cost of transportation. Medical things is not a priority to most people. So the turnout was huge. People could primarily cannot feed, have little to spend on medical. So that's why we look at Art of Gold. That the Art of Gold, that what is a priority to every man is that what he desires. So we look at our community, we look at even the children. We're able to bring these children doctors to the church environment and be able to let them see doctor free of charge and be able to get drugs. And the impact actually was overwhelming. The responses is quite awesome, and we want to thank God. The reason why we look at it is just simple: that people might not be able to at least afford some of the medications, consultations. I was glad to be part of it, really. I was sincerely glad. I want to
I
give
was
all the glory back to God.
I was looking through the videos, I saw the turnout, and I was impressed. Like, oh, indeed, like the topic, this is impact. But that leads me to the next question. Looking at the turnout for specifically when it comes to the checkup, I saw quite a lot of elderly people there. And that leads to the question, do you think, or what do you think we can do as a people to help with the medical status or the medical condition of the country, specifically with our elderly people? Because the majority of those coming to do checkup, getting eyeglasses, doing all these things were quite elderly. And he gave me also a concern that it seems this demography of people are also being abandoned. What do you think the problem is?
You know, the I think the government and the people. That's why when we talk about government, we are talking about ourselves primarily. We should focus more on those vulnerable age brackets, people
Hmm.
60 and above. When we are looking at vulnerable age bracket, we are looking at from age 0 to even 10, and we look at from 60 and above too, because the society hardly consider this age group. Then, if you look at them, they are more vulnerable because even some of those people, their children are no longer with them. When children are struggling, when the economy is so tight, uh, people tends to be quote unquote selfish. If you cannot save yourself, how will you save your parents? So
Your
we are looking at a
parents.
situation whereby even the active age bracket, the men and women who are still active, they are struggling to make ends meet. Was it 2 months ago we talked about the cost of accommodation and rentals and properties? So somebody
Mm-hmm.
that is struggling to take care of his own nuclear family will not even look at the extended family. So I think the government should make one of these social infrastructure available to this vulnerable age bracket from 0 to 10 and from 60 to 80, 60 to 90, zero cost of medical to them. Because if you look at them, even, they even express themselves very well. And glory be to God, we have some of the best doctors that came for this year impact. They are very, very welcoming and accommodating. The way and manner they were attending to them, I was impressed myself. I I believe the government should channel some of these resources. This elderly, one thing we have to recognize that they actually thrive. Somebody of 80, 90 hardly drives. So he's not enjoying the good road infrastructure. He's not enjoying the internet. He's not even enjoying most of the things that government think they are providing. These are people that are vulnerable medically. And government should make medical facility like zero for them without cost. I think they will benefit. That I was amazed their turnout, you know, and we didn't publicize it. I was afraid that when we publicize it, we might not be able to handle it. So,
Accommodate.
and we did not publicize, and you can see the magnitude of people that came
Yeah,
around. So
yeah.
it's quite awesome, and the government must be looking in that direction to reduce the mortality rate of these people, because some of them, what really killed them could be malaria, could be high blood pressure, and some of them don't even know.
I was trying to concur with you that something very little can kill these people because they are not getting proper care. But this now leads me to one of the topics we discussed. I think that was September 2025. So we've practically started discussing our topics in 1 year. So we spoke about family matters from parents to in-law, navigating the new family dynamics. So during the course of the week, I posted something on my status. I was just thinking because I heard something and it got me wondering, and I was a little bit hungry. And I wrote something on my WhatsApp status that, oh, we are big. The new norm now is becoming where people love their parents from afar. You see young people now saying now that when their parents get older, they take them to nursing home, they will love them up from afar. Some even ignore their parents. Some will even stand on the fact that no parent should use me as their retirement plan. So I wrote something like, oh, nice. Yeah, as much as I agree that as parents, you need to also take care of your future. You don't use any child as a retirement plan. But I feel like life is also a cycle where you helped these children when they were vulnerable. A time would also come that you would also be vulnerable. And I think your children, it doesn't have to be financial, but they should be there to show you love. Everything is not just all about money. They should be there to show you love. But we are moving to a generation where care for family. Well, one of my friends chatted me and he said it's individualism. That this individualism thing is becoming a problem. People don't really value families anymore, and it's becoming a problem. What do you think about it? I know this is just an aspect of the family matter, but it's also a concern because it got me really bothered during the course of the week, and I saw a lot of people chatting me. I was even shocked. I can't remember the last time I received that volume of chat. People chatting me, these people with different opinion. So, what do you think about this?
Thank you, Brad Bookie, for bringing out that fact. It's a fact that we have to deal with it. Um, the Bible talks about there will be a time that the love of many will wax cold. People will love themselves, and they call it this dispensation. They call it self-love, and that's what I was saying, talking about that. This generation love ourselves. There's no communal life anymore. If you look at it, while growing up, my father's sisters will come and stay with us. My mother's sisters will come and stay with us for a while. But such a life is no longer in existence. If it's in existence, but with a little touch. And that's what the church should do. We should encourage ourselves. And that's where love comes in. That's where love's coming. If you can ignore your parents, it's quite worrisome, and that's why people believe we are tending towards the Western culture. Yes, the love of many is waxing cold, and then the demography is changing. And people forget one fact, that if you are young today, you cannot be young forever. There will be a time that you have to be a grandpa and grandma too. And if you look at it, when you are in primary school, some people is holding hand with you and they are taking you to school. You are vulnerable. You don't even know the food that you are eating. You just know that God has given your parents the opportunity to take care of you. When it's now time for you to take care of them, you abandon them. And what the Bible commanded, the greatest commandment is honor your father and your mother, and those who are in that regard, even in the church. Honor is fast disappearing in our midst, and we should look back to it and say, honor. It's not possible. While we are growing up, thank God we are growing a little bit older now. You cannot see an elder in a bus and you keep sitting up. You cannot continue to sit down. Automatically, you have to stand up for the elderly. But now it's not. The culture is changing. You pay the same fare, I pay the same fare. You see, and there has been a lot of challenges, and that people, if you can ignore, even the way you treat me, it shows me an indication of how you treat your parents at home. Because if you can treat other people's parents anyhow, I believe you can treat your. It's a reflection of how. It's not how you are brought up this time around. How you have been treating people who are of my age in your home too. Because I see no reason why disrespectfulness is another of the day. Now, it's few people that are well cautious from home that you see respecting elderly. So charity begins at home. And then I want to say to our parents too, that there's no children is too old to be corrected. I remember before my dad died at 99, he was still correcting us. Then my elderly sister that is even like 80 years older than me. My father, there was a day we were together and she was trying to make some funny joke of disrespect. My father slapped her. So that's just the obvious. But I don't know this generation. Before you even look at them, if you look at them in a intense way, they will say they have what they call it. What do you people call it? Mental health is affecting my mental health. When we are growing up, it's affecting my mental health. We don't know mental health. My teacher, I cannot forget, Baba Jebu. If your grade in school is not that wonderful, it will beat the hell out of you. People that we have communal parenting. That people that does not even know you directly, they are not your biological parent. The way they handle you, you get sense immediately. Talk less of, and you see now parents fighting teachers in school because the teachers corrected the kids. No, it wasn't so in our time. And that's why we are, as parents too, we must, disobedient parent can only bring disobedient children. And that's the problem we are having in the world now, that we don't want our children to be corrected. You see mothers, fathers protecting their own children. And what's the result of this? They will abandon them because the love is not there. The love is not there. We should teach our children, no matter the religion, to love one another and to love their parents. I heard what you said about taking your parents to nursing home, old people's home too. It is completely alien to our culture. Completely alien to our culture. So I don't know where that is coming from. Your parents at old age, is that you get a nurse for them or you get a doctor for them and you regularly visit them. It's not just about how much you give them, the attention. I don't like it when somebody is around me and you are not picking your parents' call. It's highly disrespectful. You don't know the reason why they are calling you, and you don't know, if my children mistakenly don't pick my call, I feel bad about it. At that point in time, they need an emotional need. They have an emotional need. They want their children to talk to them. Talking to your parents alone, no matter how old they are, give them a joy that money cannot buy. It's not all about money. It's not about just giving them money at the end of the month. It is beyond that. It is you attending to their emotions and be able to connect with them. That when they are even going to their grave, they should return back to their grave with joy and with happiness. What's the essence? I have my aunt. She used to come to our house while growing up, and she will be telling my mom, because my mom was taking care of us. We were very young then, maybe we are within age 2 to 10, even till when we are even 15. She will be telling my mom that they don't eat children laps. They don't eat that. Oh man, get more. So now when we grow up, we keep on calling that woman Iyawo man get more. She will be telling my mom that they don't eat children laps, so she should be very careful how she nurture us. So that comes to my mind. So when my parents are growing up, because of the attention and the love they gave to while we are growing up, we return the same back to them. So that's why at the same in the same hand, I want to encourage the parents to show their children love while they are growing up. Because if you give them love, they will return the same quantity of love that you gave them while they are growing up back to you. But when you give them hatred, when you give them absenteeism, that you are not there for them, they might return the same to you, the same energy while you are growing up.
I haven't said that. That now leads me to the next topic that we discussed. Like we said, we'll be running through all the topics that we've discussed. And we one of the months we spoke about Nigeria economy beyond 2025. I think things have been dying down a little bit. What do you think? What's your say on Nigeria economy so far?
Hmm. I won't deceive you. It's been very challenging, very, very challenging. And I just watched a clip before we came on air of the former governor of Edo State, and why he was lamenting that the government of President Goodluck Jonathan then, they are printing money to be shared at the federating level from the at FAC allocation that they share at the end of every month in Abuja. And he said he was making a request that if it continues like this, there will be a time that there will not be any money to share, because they just printed like maybe 300 billion or I cannot remember the figure now. And if you look at it, it's like having your breakfast too early. And when the oil price was so high that we had oil boom, the money was not properly invested. If you look at the level of corruption, you see the kind of exposition that we are having now. See Malami, see the former CBN governor, Mayfield. You see the kind of money these guys are stealing. And I think that we need to redefine governance in Nigeria, because we wasted a lot of years. When some nations are talking about how to build and work the foundation, even if you look at the scripture, it said if the foundation be destroyed, when one person is having one generation should manage, what generation will you manage when one person is cornering what the allocation? You see, I am sorry to divert a little bit. You see that even the giving local government autonomy, you can see a little bit, maybe 0.05 improvement in government getting closer to people of the of the community. But you look at it, it's still the same trench of corruption. The system is so inept in corruption that you'll be so amazed that majority of people they don't even care. You see corruption left, right, and center. And these are things that we need to look at as a nation to work on our on our control. How people elected in government office, how they are managed, how they are supervised to ensure that the money that is meant for a nation is not diverted. And that takes me to one of the topic we treated on Impact 45 to couple of months ago. It's quite alarming. Most of the government elected official, they live large while the constituency that is supposed to supervise are in abject poverty. And this is not something that is new. It has always been there. That's why people of Zen mind, they don't get involved in politics because it's dirty. And we should put up a system that take care of elect. And I don't think we are punishing people who stole money enough in this country. Yes, the graft, the what they call them, EFCC of this world. I still believe they are not doing enough. Yes, I still believe they are not doing enough because we should be making people who are stealing public money a scapegoat. And I think imagine what we heard is happening in China. If you take what does not belong to you in China, and you see a lot of development will have taken place, and beyond even government officials, even the private companies and in families now, we should have a culture of that checkmate all these things. And we should have a control whereby people, because this poverty is being caused by Nigeria is blessed. Is it the natural resources? I look at some clips too that in some state actors, people who are not government officials, they are mining different resources without even from the north to the west, everywhere now. People are taking charge of the natural resources that is their domain. It shouldn't be. The government needs to add on people who are taking advantage of people. That's the reason why we have government in the first place. Government is to stand between the people who are taking advantage of people that does not have somebody. That's why we have government. Imagine now you buy fuel and you see, I observed something that I have to even shout on them in a filling station. When they were selling fuel at 1,400, the fuel I will buy like 100,000 is even the same thing that the one they are selling now at 1,120. Because I discovered that my gauge, the moment I enter my car, I discovered the gauge did not even move beyond what it used to move. So I now told them, I said, but you on the pump, we have 1,100 or something. It's still the same thing inside my tank. When you are selling at 1,300, what has really changed? People are now taking advantage of people because government is absent. Government needs to be more present in our filling station. There must be price control. People are just taking advantage of people without government regulating it. There must be price regulation. There must be quality regulation. And our people should see government, even that the money they are paying, the value, they are getting good value for every couple we are paying. And that's why I want this present government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has done well in some areas. We cannot take that away from him. Because, I said we have taken our breakfast too early. And then now we need to go fasting. And that's what is happening. Most of our government officials, even before now, even as of now, you see corruption left, right, and center. It's not about just you providing, dispensing money or allocating money to the state, to parastatals, to local government. You must ensure there must be another body that ensure that those money are appropriately accounted for. If the money is not solving problem that you are allocated to them, you should call them to order. There must be a control, maybe independently or at the state level, that will not be reporting to local government, that will not be reporting to the state governors, but they will be making sure that the money allocated to this strata of economy are really solving the problem. And the same thing to private companies, the people selling fuel, the oil marketers, we should have them. And that's when the dividend of democracy can trickle down to people. I think the government needs to do more, that even the people will benefit more, because allocating money is not enough to local government, to state government without control.
Thank you. Speaking on everything you said, in fact, it was like you were reading my mind to talk. Because the next thing I was going to ask you on this economy is on this fuel matter. It seems fuel is now going to be within 1,100 to 1,400. That is going to be the new norm now. And this has a massive ripple effect to the people, the grassroots people. Life is miserable. Things are expensive. What do you think will happen if this continues this way, specifically on this fuel issue? Because I was during the course of the week, I saw news where Dangote said, okay, fuel will be sold now in dollars, no more naira for crude or the likes agreements that they've had. And this will definitely have, it will have a ripple effect on the economy. What do you think?
I think government, as you have said, one of their program, I think we mentioned it in one of our previous episodes of Impact, too, that government have to cushion some of these costs. Government must absorb some of these costs. And that's why the essence of a government is to manage the resources on behalf of the people. And if care is not taken, there will be a time that the people that we are managing this economy, somebody said something jokingly, he said, it's good we are building road, but if people have died before the road is completed, Lagos to Calabar, Sokoto to Badagry, then what's the essence of the road? So these people, the ripple effect or the multiplier effect of removing subsidy is huge. I can't deceive you. So I don't know how government will do it. I've mentioned it as there's no way government has a social face. We should socially look at what is affecting people and be able to provide a leverage for them. If we cannot provide buses or means of transportation that we ease in the burden of people, maybe the cost of, when the cost of transporting goods to when we define production at elementary level, we said the creation of utility. And we finally said utility is not finally, production is not completed except the good produce get to the final consumer. When people who are producing are involved in production, until the cost of transportation is one of the costs that increase the cost of product and services. So until this product or services got to the final consumer, production is not yet completed. And that's what government need to pay attention to, how people transport themselves into their place of employment. We are looking at if they pay you 100,000 now, as one of the episodes of Impact, if they pay you 100,000 now, how can that 100,000 be able to take care of your feeding, take care of your transportation, take care of some of the, and that's why, some of the younger people that are working, they were not even looking at their parents' side. You know why they are not looking at their parents' side? Because even their own take home cannot take them home. And it's a huge, so you have to take care of yourself. Before you even think about your parents' medicals, before you look at the people who is related to you, you want to survive. If you don't survive, if you look at the amount of the income that goes into fueling now, I used to fuel my tank. I used to fill my tank within 17,000 naira before, but now even 50,000 does not fill my tank. Even 60,000 does not fill my tank, and it's quite huge to me. I'm looking at like 400%. Now we are looking at somebody that's earning 100,000. When you look at 100,000 and you remove cost of eating, you look for cost of transportation, you look at rental, house rent, and you look at all those things, you discover that it's better you don't work than earning 100,000. And the minimum wage is like 75,000. So that's not the challenges that government must come in. If government refuse to come in, it will encourage and fuel more corruption. And we talk about on Impact 45, they say, on corruption. Some of the corruptions are automatic. Some of the staff that goes to work, they must return with something that will take them to work the next day. If you are expecting your transport money for the next day, then you begin to engage in what they call it, in a practice that will bring money to you. I think will you go to any service center now? The security man will say, "Oga, is there anything for me?" Why? They are thinking of the next day. They said, if you go back home today, how am I going to provide? What will I provide for my family? How will I provide for them? The cost of transport back to work the next day. And these are things that we need to consider if government really are interested in tackling corruption. Because, if you work like 22 days in a month and your take home can only last you for 10 days, how will you now meet up the difference? So those are the big questions that government, I think government, and if you don't pay, there is a cost to corruption. If you don't pay that money directly, you pay for it indirectly. Yes, there is a cost to corruption, and the government must look at it.
How do you mean paying for it indirectly?
Because people will not come to work. If a government official now, out of 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, they're supposed to be on their desk, they can only make it 2 days. There's a cost of being absent from work for 3 days. Because the cost of transit, what they are earning cannot take them for 22 days in a month. So they find a way to circumvent the system. They find a way of going to work and selling some of the things that they're not supposed to sell, and they will take advantage of the system. And that's where corruption is. Corruption is not only just financial. It is even the time you're supposed to give to the people that are paying you. You are using it for your personal gain. That's why you see some of the lecturers, they do Uber. They will engage in some of the extracurricular activities. And that's corruption. How do we undo it? When the people that are doing it, they have quote unquote legitimate reason to do it. So the government needs to look holistically on how can we meet these people halfway. How can we meet people halfway in the sense that will be able to at least let their take home. And somebody said that one of the person that the solution could not be where they can, people who cannot eat, cannot think.
This thing you said, you just dived into. I think we discussed the cost of corruption in May. Yeah, May. It was discussed in May, and that leads me to, I was having a conversation with a brother this week, and he was telling me that if in quotes, like he has like maybe 100 million, that he wants to use his 100 million to establish business and the likes. And I was looking at it, I said, to speak to the corruption, I said, I don't think if I have 100 million, I'm going to do any business, because I'm not willing to, start having heart palpitations, start getting worried about someone frauding me, doing all these things, me bothering about what did this person sell, how much did this person say it was sold, all those things. I'd rather just invest my money in the money market or buy something that will give me interest every month, and I would have my peace of mind. And that leads me to the effect of this corruption we are saying on business owners too. I feel business owners too, the profit margin is really not increasing, but the staff are also complaining that, they want an increase in salary, because to be fair, just as you've explained, a lot of them, what you pay them can't even foot their bill. So what do you think? Because, and this is affecting business owners too. What do you think business owners can do in the interim before the government intervenes? Because when we are saying government needs to intervene, it's a long shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do
To
you
be
think?
sincere with you, to be sincere with you, I want to look at my own. That was once upon a time I was running a retail business. Not far, like 10 minutes drive from where I stay. Thank God I owned even the property. We are not paying rent, but there's a way we are monetizing it. And why these staffs, why they are even clamoring for salary increase? And I was thinking about it. They were busy stealing. They were busy stealing. In as much as In as much as I will say, okay, our work ethics in Nigeria is very bad, is very poor. Integrity level at both private works and is very poor. And you see the reason why when our people are clamoring for there's no work, there's no work, a lot of people have gotten their finger burnt. People who have employers that the testimony is the same everywhere in this country. That when you get some people employed, before you go back home, you see that you do business and you manage it. You sit down there. If you don't have the time, don't do business, because the people you put there are the first enemy of the owner of the business. They will wreck the business down, and that was my personal experience. These people were stealing me blind. They were stealing my money because I was not practical on ground. They were stealing everything, and they are still crying for salary increase. Now, these are people I know very well. Not until I made up my mind is that I want to stay there 1 month. I stood there for like 2, 3 months. I was amazed. The customers, even a publication in the community published it, that they need to know the owner of this business because I was not practically on ground. You understand? Because that's it. If you look at the amount you are paying them that you are trying to save, even a lot of control I put in place, these people circumvent the system and they were stealing my money. They were sharing it among themselves, from the security to the sales attendant with the supervisors. And the business environment is very toxic in Nigeria. Now, if care is not taken, nobody will be in his right mind, will be on 9 to 5 employment, and he said he's opening for some people. If you are doing that, it's a way of throwing money into the lagoon, because there's no way you can prevent your money not being stolen. It's very difficult. The environment, the environment is give room for your money to be stolen, no matter the control. And except you have a very well structured business like organization, like a bank or financial institution, that the control and the pay is good, and the supervisory role and control is high and top notch. You understand? Without that, you open one shops, they will come with their POS, sell it to your customer. Before you even do reconciliation, they clear like 3 million, and that's bulk of your money. Not looking at the cost of the fixed cost, the rental, the cost that attached to that business. So that corruption, we are deep netting corruption, both private and public sector in Nigeria. So for you to be a businessman, and that's what you hear most people saying, that a business you cannot sit down with, it's better you don't venture into it in Nigeria, because the people you are, except you want to open the business for people. And then if that's our mindset of a business, that the owner of the business will need to sit down to manage the business, then we are looking at business that is very micro, is too little. We are looking at bringing a business that we add a lot of things to the bottom line. It's all these small businesses that supposed to cumulatively add to our GDP. But when people are afraid to invest their money when they not presently available.
Abuja, but Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, those places we know, the cost of rent has been crazy. Permit me to use that word. It has been crazy. And people's salaries have not been increased. People need to feed, they need to transport themselves. And at the same time, the landlord is also increasing rent. From one of those that spoke about this topic, he said the landlord also has bills to pay, which is true. Don't you think all this contributes to why you see young people venture into things that they should not venture into? You see young people venture into stealing, venture into kidnapping, venture into fraud. This doesn't excuse you behaving bad, because bad is bad, definitely. But by the time you look at it, people need to live, people need to survive. What do you think about it?
There is a project that when we started the project, we were buying cement at 3,200, and there was a time it went to 6,500, and as I'm talking to you now, cement is 12,500.
Yes.
So it is garbage in, garbage out. It is what you buy, you sell. So now, if you want to do valuation of a property, you look at the current price of materials. The iron tons that we bought 230,000 is now 1 million plus. So you look at that increase, the margin of increase in those materials. Those are input into cost of properties. So now a project that you estimated that you are going to deliver with maybe 400 million, you now deliver it like maybe 1.3 billion. So now the difference is going to be borne by the end users, the people who are taking the rent, people who are paying for want to buy the properties, and that's it. You can't blame them, because if you look at those money that people put into property, a lot of people are not even going to property now because the risk. They prefer to put their money into other ventures that we have instrument that will be yielding with less risk. Imagine treasury bill, bond, and a lot of commercial papers that people are structuring that can give you high return on your investment. People don't want to even take risk on property that, and you'll be so surprised that if the property, the look at the flood everywhere now. Every area that was not usually being flooded is now being flooded. We are looking at the natural disaster now, reducing the value of property. So if you look at most of these properties owner are pensioner, they are people of age of 60 and above. Their source of income is from rentals. So what do you expect them to do? That's why I advocate that you cut your coat according to your material. And that's why the government must provide adequate transportation. Let's link Ogun State to Lagos. Let it Oyo State to Epe. Let's begin to find an holistic way of solving this problem by making transportation not only affordable, easily accessed to people, connect cities. People walk outside London and they walk in London 3-4 hours, and before you say Jack, they are in the community, they are in their place of work. We should make people be living in Ogun State, in Yewa. People should be living in Agowe, and they should, within 40 minutes, get to Lagos. And I think that's one of the things that the government of the Southwest should come to do, because they are together, Oyo, Ogun, Benin, Lagos, and Ekiti, and Edo. They should be able to come together to develop this infrastructure that can take people from Benin to Lagos within 30 minutes. We can do it. And that's area I have to commend Lagos State government. In that area, they are trying to come. Lagos to Ibadan now from Ido, you can do 1 hour, which is good. Discongesting the road and putting people on rail. Government should think out of the box. And that's why if I look at government officials and they are not doing something creative, I said next 4 or 8 years, you'll be forgotten. That's why we need to be very creative as public servants, people that work for government. Think outside the box, solve a long-lasting problem. Why do we still remember Jakonde? Because Jakonde came with a model of Jakonde school. During Jakonde school, we are doing morning class, we are doing afternoon class, we are even doing night classes. People should be living in Shagamu and be working in Lagos. We should connect this state together, and we look at it that is the only good for us. And security, we should make security of interstate easily. People from Kogi, they should be able to connect to Lagos in next 45, at least 1 hour, 30 minutes. So I think that's part of the thing that our people should look into. And I pray that we give people that are very creative opportunity to vie for government positions, and that we have that somebody that is on his own, does not belong to APC, does not belong to PDP, does not belong to ADC, can contest an election and he could win. One person can say, okay, I want to contest an election for a local government So I don't belong to ADC. I want to contest, and he wins. That's why we need to demonetize less money. De-emphasize the issue of money in our politics. We need to. That people are buying from 50 million, 20 million. What do you expect for somebody that is buying from political from 100 million? It's an investment. He will recoup his money back. And these are things that I want our government to look into. The cost of running for political offices should be reduced. We should not just make these offices available for people that are money bags alone. People who are ready to solve problems should be allowed by making the policies that will bring them into the politics of a nation. And I think by that, we are going to have a lot of people contesting. We are going to have people that have something to offer to contest. They should make the environment and community, the ecosystem within politics, very conducive for people that have an idea, not restraining people. Because the more you restrain people that have solutions to all these problems, the more the same set of people. You see somebody being a governor 2 times, go to House of Rep another 2, 3 times, go to the Senate House another 2, 3 times, and you discover that the person is 60 and in like 40 years of his lifetime he's in public post taking, and he still have a pension after all this. No, now you can't continue like this. Government should find a solution that people that are not money bags, people that are God fearing, people who are solution provider, technocrat, can find their way to contest for local government, for councillorship and independent candidates. The government should make for them. And I know with that, we are going to have a lot of players in the politics of Nigeria. As a result of that, have a lot of people that have something over the government should make rigging very difficult. Yes. When you know that people are going to speak at the ballot, I think yes, they will consider twice before they now misbehave in the tenor. Yes, people, they should consider the independent candidacy. They should make rigging very difficult, make election and election process very transparent, and make people of questionable character. We should have a way of eliminating people of questionable character. The moment you have been backslided to be in prison or been caught for one offense or the other, you should have no place with politics. Yes, and we should make sure that it's not only meant for money bags, that people who are trustworthy people of good integrity and track records can feature into politics. I think that will solve a lot of problem by solving the political problem of Nigeria.
I really wish our government, they are listening to this. I really do. As much as I don't think they would work on rigging, because they are the major benefactor or beneficiary of beneficiary of this rigging. So nobody will do anything against them. So, but I really hope they listen. So now, speaking on, you mentioned something about flooding, dropping the value of some of this property. What do you think about the flood happening in Lagos recently? What's your take on it? Very brief, sir.
To be sincere with you, I'm not happy about it. Thank God I was born in Lagos, and I know how Lagos used to be. I know everywhere in Lagos, Uliri, Oguduvia, Aja, Lekki, Bariga, everywhere, Usuliri, everywhere is, is a community. Lagos used to be very connected. I used to walk from Bariga to Suliri Stadium. Yes, when we are younger. So from Unilag, we used to walk to Alagomeji, all those places. We used to trek Lagos, but this time around, I think the flooding is something else. And one of the challenges that has been identified is that some of the canals have not been dredged for a very long time. They've overgrown with weeds. And if you look at it, the way of disposing our waste in Lagos is I don't know why Lagos, the government of Lagos needs to do something. Truth must be told. The way we are managing waste is quite archaic. Need to improve on it. And you see some of this where waste is being processed is smelly. And no, now we are talking about metropolitan cities. The pollution in Lagos is high. And that's why people shouldn't in any way be thinking of dumping waste inside the gutter or their drains. If there is a way government the process is very frustrating now. The PPP arrangement is not working. You know, I go through the community during the environmental sanitations today, and everywhere you see the mist. Somebody was telling me that last FIFA is around the corner in Lagos. So I said, why? He said, you see, the waste management has been very poor. Waste littering everywhere. The people that pick waste have not been coming. And the excuse is that the dumping site is heavily shut down. Managing of waste should be part of the thing. It's not just saying we have good road. How are we managing waste? You see weed go everywhere. We are not even, most of the drains are blocked. Government doesn't do anything about it. These are where Lagos state allocation should be spent. Yes, we should be spending our money to reduce the. It's not during the rain season that the government will be running a scatter. It's before the rain season. Okay, we say Lagos is. I listened to former governor Raji Fashola talking some
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, and he said Lagos is below the sea
Sea
level by
level.
0.02 or something like that. I said we know. That's why the government need to be very active, not proactive. Government need to be very proactive rather than reactive to the issue of flood in Lagos. We need to dread the canal. If you look at most of the contraventions that were removed 2, 3, 4 years ago, even the one in Bagada here, the one in Ireland, most of them they are collapsed into the canal, into the channels. They've not been dredged. Most of the projects have been abandoned. The one in Bagada has not been done. Bagada one has not been connected to the one in Mende, and the one in Mende has not been connected to the one in Kenya. And then these houses, they just collapse those houses, they demolish these houses without government doing anything about it. And then we are now complaining that the people houses are being flooded. Houses will be flooded. When government are not proactive, they're supposed to solve the problem before it get there. We know this is a yearly thing, and we are talking about building a mega city. I think government need to look inward and begin to meet people halfway, making waste disposal very convenient for people. And it should be very, government is just playing to the gallery. I can say categorically, people have their fault. They are not disposing waste very well, but government will make it easier for people. So penalty will be easier. But when there is no channel of bringing, there are some waste that will even 3, 4 months will be in your custody that the waste management people will not come. Then what do you expect from people? I think government need to look inward before they. It's not government. It's not about giving people penalty that people are throwing waste in that drain. Government should make it easier for people to be able to even do the needful, rather than government now reacting to people blocking. Yes, people need to be apportioned their own blame, but the government need to be very proactive. Government should make it easier for people at the waste disposal medium. But that's it. The drains are blocked. The water we find is level. And most especially, government of Lagos should do something. When they are building, when they are building, government officials are supposed to stop them. Government officials will not stop them until they finish building on the channel, on canals. And now the government official will be reacting and the damage will have been done. So government needs to do better. Yes, and there should be there should be punishment from the government side to their people too when they are performing below expectation, because they are there when people are building, and after building now they say the people are blocking. Is it ghosts that build those houses? And where was government doing when they are building those houses? The government need to do better for the people to enjoy better too. And I think government needs to be very proactive rather than reactive. And when government are doing, if you look at the IGR, Lagos Internal Generated Revenue, it's huge. Yes, it's very huge. I'm sorry, they are not managing these resources very well. I'm sorry. They are not managing. If they are managing very well, Lagos is supposed to be a mega city. You see witch everywhere in Lagos, bad road, even local roads everywhere, bad. And then government should look inward and that please put their house in order. God helping us.
God helping us, And to wrap it up, I want us to speak on something that is very important in the country. I know in one of the months, that was last year November, we spoke about Nigeria insecurity. But somehow, it's been quiet for a couple of weeks now. Let's say maybe 2 weeks. It's been quiet. What do you think the government has been doing right? Because I want to believe something is being done. That is unlike before. Every week there's always a disaster. So what do you think? It's been quiet. What do you think the government has been doing right?
I want to quote what people have been saying, that if the insurgency is more than 48 hours, as it was quoted that it was the Abacha government that said it, that the government is in know of it. So I believe government now, they want to really be a government. They've really sat down and look at the way to resolve the insecurity problem of this nation. If government really want to be government, Nigerian army and Nigerian police are they are well equipped, and they can combat any, because they've been going outside the country through Ecomonga, and they are doing well. So they are receiving medals and accolades from all over the world. Why can't they do the same here? I think if there is a will, there is always a will. So I think now the government is now ready to combat insurgency and non-state actors. If government really want to be government, I know now government really want to be government, and government, they are sitting tight, because there's nowhere in the world that you want to encourage insecurity and you want foreign direct investment to come, and people are afraid to do business. There is this project they were thinking of doing within Abeokuta access, and because of the insecurity within that access of kidnapping, the investors stop coming. And these are things that the government needs to look at. The job that we really want to create cannot be well created if there is atmosphere of insecurity. If people are afraid to go out for leisure, people are afraid to invest in the rural area where lands are cheaper, the transportation can be easily accessible within the community. And I think government need to look at it, security squarely. And I believe that the President Donald Trump too, intervention are ready to give support to the military is really paying off. I think it's paying off, because you can see that the government is more serious about fighting insurgency and banditry now. If you look at the case study, that the last Oyo rescue, and you look at it, it's unfolding, that the government really, they were not willing to pay ransom. So weird that they didn't pay ransom. They were ready the government went ahead to kidnap the family of the people, the bandit too, and they use it as a piece of to round
As
them
ransom.
up and be able and round those people up and be able to get them to release the people, and they now surrounded them. So I think the government really want to work, they will work, you know. And I love the is it the army commandant, the the defense head of. He said, "He's not. I don't need to give. You don't wait for any instruction. If you have confirmed that these are bandits and insurgents, shoot them. Don't wait to go to Abuja to. People cannot be killing your people, and you are saying you are waiting for order for you or the idea of releasing rehabilitating insurgency or banditry. No, rehabilitating people that are busy killing our people, slaughtering people on live television, raping women on live television, and you said they should at least no second, they should they should give them what they deserve. Yes, and any community or any set of people talking on behalf of insurgency or the people who are making Nigeria insecure, they need to bury their head in shame, because Nigeria belongs to all of us. The people are being killed, no matter who are these people that, and we don't want to know their tribe. Insurgency and insecurity has no race or no tribe. The moment you are killing Nigerian citizens, the government need to pursue them with all out of violence to ensure that Nigerian state have been protected and Nigerian people have been guided. So we are not talking about tribe now. We are talking about Nigeria as a state. And the Nigerian government, I think they've been made up their mind and to fight in tackling insurgency head on. And I want to say kudos to the government in this aspect now, because they are lacking. Before we can give them F9, But now I think you can give them maybe B3 something.
Okay, I think that brings us practically to the end, but I don't know. I would like you to share a word with our people, before we call it a day. What do you want to say to our people?
I want to encourage people that we don't leave government to politicians. We don't leave politics to politicians. That's very key. Don't that have discovered over the years that in getting people to come for impact, that some of my bosses, some of the people that think they're making waves, they don't want to they don't want to be involved in politics. They want to leave politics to politicians. And then if you are now leaving the politics for governance to politicians that created the problem in the first place, how soon can the problem go? The, the kind of mindset that created the problem cannot solve the problem. And I got to understand this while I was dancing with the politicians. I discovered that politicians think about the next action, how to bring people of low value closer to them, to be able to buy their loyalty and to be able to control them. So if people that you have name, you have personality, you have integrity, you have wherewithal, you have substance, and you want to be involved, we should be even more involved in politics. And the reason why we should be more involved in politics is because we know our own news. We know the left from the right. I don't think chairmanship of your ward is too small for you. Start from somewhere. Contest for the chairmanship of your locality. Contest for the governor. Contest for House of Rep. Even in local in state House of Rep. Be involved. But our people need to be more involved in politics. Yes, at the local level. All politics is local. People should people should get involved in politics and be ready to serve. What I discovered is that most of our people that even have the fear of God, they don't want. They say politics is dirty. If it's dirty, we have the one that will clean it. If you come, you join, and I join. People of good mind, with good background, people with educations. And I discovered one thing, okay, that most of the artisans, they are the one calling the shots when it comes to politics. The Barbers Association of Nigeria, the Organizers Association of Nigeria, and all these associations, they have their impact association. They are they are they are the one that are in charge of the people who are ruling us. Imagine the mindset, imagine the ethos, imagine the values. So if these are people that are not well educated, quote and unquote, the one choosing people that will be our governor, our president, our chairman, and our House of Rep uh, elected member. What do you think the product will be?
Hmm.
That's why you and I must be involved. If we will not be actively involved, we can be passively involved. And I discovered some of our elite, they don't want to even comment. There are some of these people I've invited to talk to even to yearly impact conference. They don't want to say, no, Seni, I don't want to, no, I don't want to step on toes. If we don't step on toes, Nigeria will continue to be like this. Our children are abroad does not even change the game. One day they're supposed to come home and meet a very effective and efficient community and nation. But if not your children, my children are not involved, running away from politics and the governance, who will put the place in order? And I think that's what I want to leave with our people. We should be the light of the world. We are the salt of the earth. We should get more involved. Our influence family. We should be an influence in our community. We should be a positive influence in our area. Imagine if somebody like Governor Babatunde Fashola, which I have a lot of respect and reverence for, said he just want to be a legal practitioner, doesn't want to be involved in politics. We have where would that left us now? Because advocate and representative people in our community. And that's what I want to live with you and I, that we want a very good community environment and a system. Who will build those systems? Look at what the Minister of Interior, Ojo, is doing. Imagine him to what former governor Rachel did. Those are the people that can put a structure in place that we need to tired. And one day we are going to make a remarkable changes. God helping us.
Hmm. We've all heard it. We all need to participate. We all need to be part of the change if we really want to change. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Pastor Adebayo. It's a very wonderful time. It has always been a wonderful time, with you. Spending these 45 minutes to 1 hour with you has always been wonderful. Full of insights, we learn. And the same thing, I believe the same thing is applicable to our viewers. So thank you all, and we'll meet again this time next month. Bye, everyone.